was going to be different from what was in the first prison, because now I had more material. As I told you, I didn't have to worry about the date. What I did have to concern myself with, was there any way of preparing the emblems? Well, it's going to be a hard job to get the wine. They won't serve any wine in this prison. So then I did tell you, I used to get a parcel of goodies come in once every month with butter, jam and meat and fruit all in tins, and butter, tea leaves and everything. But what I was concerned with was a tin of fruit which was labelled black currants. And it had a picture on the label of a vine with this little fruit of black currants coming down, just like a bunch of grapes. Then that put in my mind, well, you get wine from grapes, perhaps you can get some wine from those black currants. So I get the tin opened and drained out all the syrup, and I put the black currants into my handkerchief, and I squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. I got about, I should say, about 4 ounces of juice out of those black currants. Then I got a little sugar, because I had some sugar in the Red Cross parcel. I got a little sugar, put that in, and I had a glass bottle in my box, and I put the juice in this glass bottle, and then I put a little bit of sugar in, and then I corked it up and left it. And I prayed to Jehovah that perhaps that could be wine for the memorial. And by the time the memorial came around, that was quite nice red wine. So now I had the wine. It wouldn't be so difficult to get the bread. They do not provide me with unleavened bread in the prison. I used to get wholemeal brown bread, which was nice, in the second prison, not the first one. And then I could get boiled rice for my lunch, with my lunch. So I get a little few grains of soft boiled rice, push it in my hand and flatten it out, made little cakes, and then I put these on the bars of the gateway there, and I let them dry right out, and they dried out quite crisp, dry little cakes made with rice flour. There's no leaven in it. It's a grain, the same as wheat is a grain, and I figured that that would serve as the bread. So the next time with the memorial, I didn't give them the memorial talk, but I wrote the memorial song. And working up before the memorial work, several months before the memorial work, I started on it. And there I had the 2 books of the memorial. And these little books give you the whole memorial talk in rhyme, all the way through. O Jehovah our Father in heaven, this is a most sacred night, this nice and 14th, when we stand before you as heirs of your word and his light. And as we assemble before your great throne on this nice and 14, 'tis our aim to remember the death of our Lord Jesus Christ and remember your most holy name. And then it goes on right the way through to the memorial. So after having done that, I now had the real emblems which I could now take properly. So that was how we celebrated the memorial on that second prison. That lasted for the next 3 years, and there was still some left over of the wine because I only took a tiny sip each time. So I took it into Brooklyn with me among the rest of my souvenirs, and I showed it to Brother Noor, who had invited me to dinner that night, and Brother Franz was there at the dinner too, and I sang him the house-to-house song, and then I showed him this memorial wine that was left over. And then he took the screw off and smelled it. He said, that does smell like Fred, and he passed it to Brother Franz, and Brother Franz looked at it and smelt it, and he reached for a wine glass and poured that into it and drank it down. That was the end. The end of my souvenir.